Okay. I would love to know if somebody can figure out what what is going on with this. Again, this has just been a thing in the last like 3 weeks that we've been having this issue. I would love to know what the deal is because this has not happened before, really ever. Maybe like once or twice, and Lish must be strong on this one. So, anyways, welcome again, everybody, to the Roach Wiggle. Just as I was saying, everything's going great. Everything's good. Everything's perfect. We got these shenanigans happen. That's okay though. We're here. We're here now. Again, my apologies to everybody having to hop around digitally. I know it's a big hassle. We got a nice fruit shake here. It's delicious. It is exactly what I need today. Like the stream, Alan says, yes, thank you. Yes, hello again. I'm just gonna keep rambling as if nothing had ever happened. Anyways, actually, I don't know what I was talking about. Things being good. We got these Androhomanas. At least the genetics are still here, so that's good. If something were to happen to this container, though, it would be a gigantic tragedy because this is all the females. I left the males all in the grow-out tank. I have to start using Zoom. Lokias, did you ever get Ligia exotica? I have two people who are working on one primary person who says that they can claim the bounty. They have something else that I need to get as well. So probably going to go that route. And then another person who was who emailed me shortly after, who was also willing to fill the bounty. So I have two people who are waiting to fulfill it. So I did not, but I will soon. It's also I'm kind of on the fence about whether or not I really want to go through with it at all at this point because of the move situation, and it's a species that doesn't like neglect. But I might as well have some fun and do that. I had Baudiniana before, Ligia Baudiniana, I think, and I had them in a 10-gallon tank with a bubbler and some sandstone stacked up on the side, and I think maybe 1.5 or 2 inches of brackish water that I made with instant ocean sea salt. And they did really well. I would feed them fish flakes in a pile once a day, and it would be gone the next day. And they bred really well, and the babies grew really fast, and the adults kept growing. But I tried to cut corners. I stopped feeding every day. I tried doing like a big pile of food instead of fresh stuff every day. And they really did not like that. And it also got kind of gross. But they didn't like it, and they ate all the babies within just a couple of days or maybe even overnight once. And by babies, I mean they had grown to like 1/2 inch from being newborn. So they were quite established. But they ate them all, and then the remaining ones, it was like 2 or 3 males just lived forever with the bubbler turned off and got gigantic, but didn't do anything. So that's why I'm thinking Exotica is going to be just like that, if not easier. Exotic Wilderness is my Neostylopiga rhombifolia started producing tons of oots. That's good. I like to hear established colonies. Wonderful. Logie says that's why I'll know people who've had Ligia exon but don't use salt water with them. So there was a Ligia palassii from the West Coast. There was somebody at the beginning of the isopod boom that was selling palassii or whatever that species was, and they showed a picture of them all in a container with a bunch of sphagnum moss and water, and everybody was saying, "Oh, this guy has them, and he says they breed really well on just the sphagnum moss and stuff like that." And I was like, I don't really think so. And then, of course, that guy disappeared. Everybody who got them from him and kept them like that did not get them established. So it was clear the guy just wild caught a bunch and said they were breeding, but they weren't. So, but yes, they might need a lot of space if you want to do like a pile of food approach. But I'm definitely slotted into the daily care maybe type of organism. Though if anyone's working with Ligidium, I was, and then I didn't know that I introduced Hyloniscus and or Trichoniscus to the Viv. I put the Ligidium into, and they seemed to have outcompeted them. I went to pack the Ligidium that I auctioned off and could only find the Hyloniscus and Trichoniscus, which I was not aware of were even in the enclosure until just then. So, almost forgot, says Devin, but I made it. Welcome, Devin. Devin, you were probably on the list of people I'm going to beg for a shipping delay so I can actually do some husbandry next week because I desperately need to do it. So please tell me if that's okay, if a shipping delay to the week beyond next week would be acceptable. Loki says, Carlos supposedly has him, but I haven't heard back from him after reaching out. Alan, that's already been plaguing me. Please no. Ligma Exotica, that's funny. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate it, as does my entire collection. I'm going to try and cram a lot into a couple of days. Probably isopods have been coasting for about a month and a half now. I haven't done any of my major isopod bin husbandry for about a month and a half now. But the air humidity is so high, and I also haven't been watering them. So they've been doing very well. The majority, some don't really like that as much, but the majority of them are doing very well in these conditions. So I can push isopod husbandry probably until mid-June. If probably going to end up being that mid-June, I'll take care of my isopods again. But roaches are coming up on needing husbandry. The office needs husbandry. Beetles, misc, millipedes. Basically everything except isopods I should really do next week. And I have a packed week because I have the expo at the end and I'm supposed to send out some specimens to some UK university for research on Tuesday, which I have been putting off doing since February, but also told him it would probably be April or May before I got them out to him. So it's okay, kind of. So Devin says, dealing with car problems has sent me back. I'm getting ready for my auction stuff anyway, so the extra time will be useful. Okay. Thank God. I appreciate it. Tank the Tortoise 56. Can you give me some tips to help my wild-caught Suriname roaches to breed? Put them in a container and feed them. That's about it. Loki says, did you filter the salt water with your Ligma? Alan, you have done this. Yeah, Alan, you've done this. No, there was no filtration, just a bubbler. I figured that with the water sloshing in and out and kind of the places that Ligia are found, they would probably be okay without water changes very frequently. I do kind of wish I could make a more holistic environment for them with some other like cleanup species in there, maybe like some amphipods or something to kind of make sure things don't get kind of gross, but at the same time, I'm not sure how necessary it is. Yeah. Tennyson says, send a text about the other two domestics we were sending you. Do you still need locality info on those, or has my dad sent that? I believe he sent the locality for them. An email works better. I'm actually having a difficult time getting larvae from the undulatus that you sent. I gave them a full-size dead Caternix quail, and I don't know if it was too fresh or if it was maybe they don't like birds. Maybe they only lay on mammal carcasses or something, but they, despite having a full carcass in the enclosure, they have not reproduced. Maybe too humid. Yeah, I was wondering if the meat would be too humid, but at the same time, Dermestes ater, Dermestes, I believe it's Tulpinus, the ones that I have from here in Michigan, and Dermestes maculatus will all take fresh kills, but I also threw the quail in the oven for a couple hours to dry it out and bake it, so it's should be dry, or I'm just letting it all get dry in there and see what happens. Loki asks, do you want new locality lawn shrimps? Not particularly. I do still want new species of lawn shrimps, but I kind of have to be, I'm trying to be tactful with my acquisitions right now. Nothing too intense. Your basic isopods are fine. I'll take those all day and all night, and I will not say no to more roaches, which I have not. Speaking of, there should be some fun roaches coming in a couple of weeks here. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Some never before seen stuff. We'll see how that goes. Maybe grow algae on the rocks for the Ligia. I think they want more than that. I think they get so much selection of stuff in the wild in terms of the sea washing things up that you got to give them more heavier feed. I think I gave them seaweed and they didn't really like it. They really wanted the fish flakes, I think. Instances having any issues with them beyond humidity, we keep them 1/4, 1/3 moist, rest bone dried on dog food, and freeze dried herring. Are they producing lots of larvae, Tennyson? Because mine, the whole substrate's dry. Just the actual thing I added, the quail was, was cooked, but maybe not as thoroughly as they wanted. Zero Cool Ninja 88 says, "What's good, folks? Don't forget to hit that like." Thank you, Zero Cool Ninja. It's good to see you too. Michael Bradley, I don't think you're new. If you are, welcome. Michael Bradley says, "Think about a 6-quart mini ecosystem with pseudoscorpions being the apex, with springs, white dwarfs, flightless fruits, moss, rocks. Any ideas where I can get the waffle fabric?" What's a waffle fabric? I'm not sure what that is. Loki says, "Locality roaches." Yes, they should all be locality. One that I'm not opposed to talking about is Decoralampra. Junior seems to have had luck with Decoralampra. And it seems that, as with many things from the Philippines, they want smotheringly high humidity. Maybe that's why a lot of people failed with them. The setup that he sent me did not look exceptional. It looked pretty bland, no gimmicks, no weird something or other. So they'll be going in a 5.5 gallon with medium ventilation for now, for this time of year, and then low ventilation for winter time. So hopefully get those established. Circus says, "I feel like Ligia need more protein. A lot of cannibalism stories." So it seems like cannibalism, something a lot of people are experiencing with Ligia. Again, the fish flakes worked. I had no cannibalism to my knowledge. There were tons of babies. They were super happy, but they wanted that fresh fish flake. They did not want it a day old. They wanted it the day that it was placed in the enclosure, somewhere on the sandstone piece, one of the sandstone pieces. That's interesting, Tennyson, that the undulatus is your most prolific species. Do they need wood to bore into to pupate? Maculatus and Talpinus seem to prefer that. If it's provided, they'll bore into wood to pupate. This is, if you open the carcass, they like to go deep, so maybe more larvae. Zero larvae, from what I could see. Still all adults. To be fair, I have only been picking up the container, rotating it, and then putting it back. I have not actually gone in, lifted it, dissected the carcass. I haven't had time for that. The Necrobia you sent have not produced anything to my knowledge, but they're all alive. They seem to be doing fine. So thank you again for those. The Violacea. Waffle fabric is a fabric made from waffles, I assume, says Zen Monkey. Perhaps. Hyperbeam says, "I just picked up 4 button quail chicks today. They're too cute, hoping to breed them to feed monitors one day." I think quails blow all their poultry out of the water, Caturnix, with like how fast you can grow them, how little food they need, and how easy it is to clean them. And even though the one that I had, story with the dead Caturnix was when Nazik was in heat and she was in the garage, she got bored and she knocked open the quail tub, and 2 of them got out. I assumed she had killed them. She did not. She merely played with them. I just couldn't find them, but there were feathers everywhere. So I think it was 2 days later, when I was in the garage with my headlamp on at night, I looked in a corner between my feed cans, and there was one of the quails with all the feathers ripped off its back, bloody mess, still alive, and then the other one was dead somewhere else in the garage, unfortunately. But the one that was trapped in the corner for what I assume was 2 days, I sprayed some of that Blue Coat livestock disinfectant, antibacterial, blah 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 on it, and put it back into the colony, which is better secured now, by the way. And it's fine. It's doing fine now. I think it's going to make a full recovery. Those things are tough as nails. But anyway, so that's where the dead quail came from. So we'll see. Zen Monkey says, button quail each contain a tiny suicidal demon. Fascinating take. Michael Bradley says, fabric for the vented lid. You could use brass microscreen, which was what I use. You could use fabric tape, which I was led to believe was more ventilating than I am finding it out to be. I have a couple of containers here where I kind of tried to rely on it pretty heavily, and I'm a little disappointed that it's not quite as porous as I thought it would be. It might also be because on 2 of them I have a double layer of it, so I don't know. I would like to play around with it more. It seems like it's going to be good for keeping the particularly vicious predatory mites out of some enclosures. Shane Conklin says, I've been finding a ton of zebra roaches on Bogus Island on the Mississippi between Iowa and Illinois. They're very vibrant golden bang. They'll need dipods, but I'll try without too. Shane, I would love to get a colony of those from you. Please, when you can, if you can catch me a dozen or 2 wild ones, let me know. I can trade you something for them or buy them from you. I would like to try a strain that is not southern. I suspect they may not actually need diapause also. But I think the thing with Parkoblatta zebra is it might be a floodplain specialist or preference. That's where we found them in Alabama. And if you're finding them on an island and it's in the Mississippi, it's probably a very mesic place, I would assume. So I would assume, in the very least, that if the water level's high, that island might be underwater at times, at least up to like the ground level, maybe. Tennyson says, prefer, but they pupae in cork, styrofoam, rotting wood, and meat. In meat, that's bizarre. Probably hundreds of them. Yeah, Necrobia have been slowed too. Not sure what it is. We're trying 3 different setups. That's a good approach, is to try a couple of different setups. If you have the option to with something, put them in multiple different setups and see what sticks. Since I saw Violacia in the wild, I'm still convinced that the beef tallow will work. And I'm pretty sure that the last set that I collected that had a stowaway roofapies was probably the. I imagine the 2 species don't like each other much, and I would imagine the roofapies may have been eating the eggs or larvae of the Violacia, and that's why it ended up being a roofapies colony in the end. But there was 1 roofapies in those Violacia you sent, Tennyson. There was 1 very small roofapies. I did eliminate it, so I do only have Violacia now. Jane says, no problem. I hope they won't need one. That'd be cool. They really seem to like leaf litter. Seems to be their thing, too. Nice leaf litter accumulation. Let's see. Other things going on with everything. Tennyson says, yeah, we've separated a whole 3 now. Okay, so you found 3 roofapies mixed in. There's a 3rd species that's pretty cool looking I'd like to get eventually, but I'm not ready to bust down any doors or something to work with it. I would like the Violacia to do well first, honestly. More things. Got a bunch of ducks on eggs right now. Doing that. Doing some front yard, redoing some beds on Saturday in preparation for selling the house. It's a step, that curb appeal. That front yard appeal. I've been in further communication with Springfield Township. They seem far more willing to work with us than it initially came off. I think I brought this up last week. And it may even be so that they were more concerned about the potential livestock activities than they were about the bug building. So I provided them more information. I wrote my formal business whatever. And maybe I should have clarified on there, since I just kind of went into the general uses of the property, but I guess it was pitched as the overall business plan. Really, with all the livestock and stuff, it's more hobby farm level stuff. I want to sell extras that we produce of things. I'm going to have to sell extra goats and whatnot. And we're going to be producing dogs at some point, but we're not trying to do it at an industrial level. And we're not trying to run a kennel, which is another thing that they took issue with. But the Armenian Gobbler Club of America breeding, etc., ethics guidelines are so strict. There is no way following those you could even run a kennel operation with Gompers, because you can't produce enough dogs, is the basic thing. With that, while part of the AGCA. So I gave them all kinds of information, bombarded them with stuff, like, oh, here's the number of resident birds, here's the number of birds maximum after a hatch, and all this stuff. I really just slammed them Kyle Roach crossing style with all this information. And I believe we're going to be meeting up at some point in the near future with them to discuss the bug building thing. I think it's just going to be discussing everything, but they wanted that other information at first before we went into some sort of discussion. So things are looking good. We got the barn almost completely cleaned out last Sunday. Was it Sunday? I think it was Sunday. There's just some hay mixed with roofing material, straw mixed with roofing material left up in the barn. We're going to push that all out because I don't want to compost. It's got roofing material in it. We're going to bag it up and trash it. And then the barn will basically be ready should we find ourselves in the situation where we can move in ASAP. So we've got we still got a lot going on. We're kind of in a waiting process right now. Yada yada yada. Zen Monkey says, tell them that you expect 18 tractor trailers coming in each week with feed and outbound with manure, then negotiate down to what you want. That's hilarious. Now we're going to process all that stuff on site. It's going to be turned into bug food and all kinds of other great stuff. And I look forward to it. Slam them Kyle Roach crossing style. Thank you, Loki, for providing that quote. Brain says, how is the no bed life? A very important question. I have been sleeping better the last week than I think I've slept in the last 4 or 5 years in that room. It is incredible how horrible my old mattress was, and I had no idea. I mean, I had an idea because I'd go and sleep places and I'd be like, wow, I got a good night's sleep. Wow, I really like this mattress. But I didn't quite internalize that, oh my God, this mattress that I sleep on every night in my bedroom is absolutely awful. So the air mattress, I've been sleeping like a baby. I've been getting like 7+ hours of sleep, like uninterrupted. I've been dreaming again. I have not been consistently dreaming for years, and now I will wake up after a night full of incredibly vivid, lucid dreaming. So it's been wonderful. Rotate your mattress regularly. I rotated it regularly. Eric Matthews, I'm not sure if you were in on the mattress discussion last week, but my mattress was a family hand-me-down that was at some point so old. My mother did not remember how old the mattress was, but the bed frame, not the mattress itself, but the frame that was with the mattress was from my dad's childhood in the 70s, I believe. The mattress was not that old, but may go back to the 80s or 90s. And so no matter how much you rotate, you are not going to rotate through that. So Luch Garden State Bug says, "What's up, bro?" Hello, Luch. I don't know, bro. How much sleep is normal to you? If 7+ is an accomplishment, 7 hours is about. I'd say that's a good night of sleep. 8 hours, 8 full hours would be nice too. I can go on as little as 6 hours intermittently without effects during the day if I get a good night's sleep the following day. Monkey says, "Oh no, his cognitive skills are returning." Kyle, did you get my message back? Message, if it was sent via email, I don't seem to see anything in email, and I don't have my phone on me currently. So if you just sent it, then I'm not gonna. I won't get it until after the stream. Very distracting, and not even Nazig's not even barking, so he's just being neurotic right now. Been a while since we've had Victor barking interrupting a stream, so I guess we can a little bit of a throwback there. Braden says, "Rookie numbers, my mattress came across on the Mayflower." The air mattress is just so good, and also at the end of the day, after shipping and stuff's done, or when we're done with whatever, Angel and I have been going through my stuff. I got rid of about maybe 60% of my clothing, maybe more than that. We still have to go through my more formal attire. It's currently laid out in the living room, so gonna go through that and get rid of hopefully at least half of that stuff too. And basically, again, just clearing out the house, getting things nice and trimmed down and packed up for when the move is going to happen, so it can just happen like that. And then I have this nice clear house here that I can continue working in, but then also be ready to completely clean out and tidy up and stage for selling it. So Luch says I get maybe 5 hours tops daily for that. It's probably haunted with dead bugs now. Yeah, that mattress might be. Kyle, do you recommend keeping a small culture of like 20 tomatoes for springtails, like a deli cup with soil and cocoa croutons? Yeah, I mean you're gonna end up with more than 20 in a small deli cup, but I mean, why not? If you just want the species to have it, then yeah, you could go ahead and do that. Zero Cool Ninja says, "Have you tried to create flake soil with fermenting it in water? Been seeing this new way, but not sure if it works. I have the space to make enough." I haven't really used water to ferment flake soil type stuff. I have done that with leaves. It works very well over a long period of time, especially if you change out the water. So I would assume maybe with the soil stuff, with wood, it should work too. Luch says, "I gotta move my Spirostreptus cervaceous male into a bigger enclosure. Man, he's a monster." Yeah, some of those African species can get quite large. Trying to think of what other things are up. I mean, it's basically me frantically trying to get everything I need to do done in a day. I might go see what the heck he's barking at. All right, I said his name once and then said what twice, so we'll see if that was enough to get him to stop. Might be. But yeah, we're holding pattern with the township. Again, yard work, blah, blah, blah. What new projects? Those new roaches coming in. It's kind of hard to give updates when I haven't done husbandry in a bit, too. Good update. Okay, one good update. I think it was Marshall Arachnids told me that one of their strains of Pseudoglomerus magnifica just had babies for the first time. And I responded with that I have not checked mine of that strain. I think it might be the same strain. It might be a different strain. Anyways, but my Magnifica North Vietnam Gold, the female I looked in today, I was just like, maybe you should give these guys a little extra care because they're, your Pseudoglomerus magnifica and everybody wants them. And so I looked in on the North Vietnam golds, which were fine. They still have plenty of jelly and fish flakes and all that other stuff. So they're just, sun could go out and they'd be fine for at least another month. But when the female just covered in babies underneath, maybe about anywhere between 30 and 40 babies on her. So that was 2 thumbs up for the North Vietnam Gold Pseudoglomerus magnifica. I'm not sure people will go quite as crazy for those. They're just as pretty as the Cook Phuongs, but they're not as large. I mean, I could see if we can get a good view of her here. She was right up against the corner earlier. You can also see this setup. Yep. There we go. There she is with her little babies right there. And how cool. They're not even focus on the bugs. The bugs are what's important. How cool. They're not even just first instar. Look, some of them look like they're molting to second instar, maybe even third. Kind of hard to tell. But it looks like a couple of them have also crawled off of her because there were a lot more earlier. I did find like 2 or 3 of them roaming around here. I hope they can find their way back to mom. They should be able to. But yeah, so this is a big success. This is good, exciting news. There's other females here. Is that a male? There's like 2 males. So it looks like this strain is gonna do well for me. And that's good. I'm glad that I was able to whip these out and show you guys. So they're doing good sneeze. Oh, I can't have a violent sneeze while I'm holding onto this enclosure. This other female got babies? No, not yet. Anyways, here's a Magnifica enclosure for those who haven't seen it. Where's the gold coloration? I'd have to crack them open and look at them. It's not very discernible from the Cook Phuongs, from the greens. I'm not really sure where the gold comes from, to be honest. They're not as green as the other locality, so maybe by default that means that they're gold. The ones from Kunming, the copper, which I think that's what Marshall Arachnids was referring to when they said the bronze. I'd have to ask TJ. The coppers have been inconsistent for me. I think I lost a good chunk of them. They were like first or second instar for months, and then like one of them just grew to like full size right away. One of the females. I was like, oh, that's weird. And the rest were just kind of like first or second or third instar, for months, and then finally they just started growing more. And now it looks like I will end up with an adult pair, but they're just not doing much or well. Maybe their humidity going up will help them. I don't know. So my expectations for those, I'm not. I don't have high hopes. We'll see. Chain says they won't die if they fall off, right? No, they're not like thorax. If first instar thorax fall off, they're probably screwed. With those, they seem to even wander a bit from mom, and then they just kind of come back at some point. So yeah, so that's good news. There's Eucharidia that are popping up too. Did I show off my new label style? You've probably seen a couple of things here with it. I'll bring one down here. Maybe there'll be one of these guys front and center for us to look at. Yeah, there's the bottom of one to look at here. Again, if I showed this off already, I apologize. But this is my new label style that I will be switching my whole collection to. Add it to the list of things that are PIAs in my life, including site stuff. But it's just how things are going to be for now. One day things will be better all around, and I will just keep working hard. But for now, this is where I'm going with things. You can see there's an adult there. I think it's an adult female. Usually they're a little more charismatic. They're like climbed up onto the fruit jelly thing and not quite looking like they just ate a whole pizza by themselves and they're resting on the sofa. But this is the new thing. The RCID is a way of referencing roaches that will be on the new website. So if we decide, oh, this isn't Paraplaneta americana, this is Paraplaneta alaniana or something, the RCID number will not change. So we'll have the same RCID on the website and on my labels, and the just the Latin and identity and whatnot will change. So they're also interchangeable. They should be pretty waterproof with these card protectors, very customizable, as you can see. And I look forward to hopefully within 3 years from now, I get the whole collection converted over to this stuff. You just see a gigantic wall with all these labels on here and stuff, and it'll be all nice and very clean cut and whatnot. The copper's always on my case. I don't understand why I'm a nice guy. Ask Alan. That's funny. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. What do you use to make them, a label machine or PC? This is a business card template for PC. So this is just a business card in an oversized card protector. I wanted side loading so that when I water the ports, etc., water doesn't get in through this side. You know, it can't get in through the top or the bottom or whatever. And yeah, and I tried a couple of them, but this harder plastic stuff is nice. I really like this. The blue dot is for my reference in the future. I will probably have all, single racks devoted to each kind of group of things. Like there'll be only Roach racks, only ice spot racks, kind of like I have now, but done better and more consistently. So the dot color simply tells me this is a Roach bin, or that this thing here is a Roach. And the other bugs that I work with will all have their own colors or symbols. But Roach Crossing's color is kind of blue, kind of this dark blue. So I decided to make the color for the Roaches blue. Also noticing the top of this circle is suspiciously flat. Interesting. Now a QR code linking to their page on your site, that's too much for me. Maybe in the future I'll have some young whippersnapper come into the future Roach Crossing building and cross-digitize everything there. But I also do have a file where I'm adding and editing all of these too. So I don't know why anybody would want to download it unless you want to use the labels for your own collection. Maybe I will make that available eventually. So anyway, so this is the future of Roach Crossing. There will be this cross-coordinated with the archives on the Roach Crossing website. And that's that. Speaking of the website, let's talk about that. The website, Chris and I are going to be sitting down having some time tomorrow night to work on it, see what all he needs me to sort of direct and figure out. And I believe very soon it's going to be simply on me to start getting pictures and flavor text written. And that'll probably start in earnest after all the auction stuff is shipped out. So thank you, everybody, for the compliments I'm seeing here on the labels. Again, consistency is big to me, and proper labeling for all these things. Zen Monkey says QR codes for that are straightforward. All right. That's what I like to hear. Again, there's just so much to do right now. It doesn't seem like a heavy priority for me. Have you had success trapping? Funny thing about the Paraplaneta from the hexagon I dropped, 2 weeks ago? Yes, I am finding them in miscellaneous places around the basement, like especially in the laundry room, because of the moisture that's in there, and also because that's where the rodents are. So all their top-loading feeders with the open exposed dog food is candy to the Paraplaneta. But it seems a lot of them stuck around where I dropped the hexagon, and probably because the substrate, the substrate got splashed onto some isopod containers, And so there's probably like they're aggregating pheromones that were splashed over there. And so quite a few of them stayed right around the basically where I dropped the bin. So that's been convenient for taking care of the problem. So so still everything everything's gonna be when I move out, it's gonna be everything's going to be so nice for at least some time, like having fresh containers for everything, fresh organizing space, big reservoirs of substrate and whatnot to be able to work with to swap out containers like that, refresh a colony very quickly instead of putting it on the list of to-dos for days. Um, Having a full-time or part-time employee will be nice. Unsure. Will is moving to Dearborn, which is further away from Holly. So I'm not sure how viable this career choice will end up being for him. Alan does not want to move to Michigan, and I do need to talk to TJ about some things. But our good friend Exotic Wilderness has expressed some interest in working for Roach Crossing, at least part-time. So I'm hoping maybe something can happen there because I think after I move in, I'm going to need lots of help. So one more deviation from bug stuff. I know it's a little soon to be thinking about the next auction, but I would like to, as I mentioned before, run a summer auction to probably just pick some heavy hitters to put up for auction and to generate a big chunk of funds without expending too much time and having to take forever to ship and pack everything. So there will be end of June, early July, there will be another summer auction with just sort of heavy hitting bugs, maybe some big lots of stuff that people really want, maybe some of those Pseudoglomerus magnifica. If there's some more good litters, the North Vietnam golds will go up for grabs. We'll put some good stuff up. Alan says, I actually got a full-time job offer too, so I might not even be able to ship soon. Congrats, Alan. That's good to hear on that. We'll have to talk more about that. Where I was going with this is I still have to calculate how much flying to Arizona and renting a car is going to run. And was actually going to maybe beg if there's any people with boots on the ground in Arizona currently. I think we're going to fly into the Phoenix International Airport. I'm trying to think about the logistics of picking up some supplies such as camping gear and maybe bug supplies, if there are any for those wiggle people who are in Arizona and perhaps close to Phoenix. I'm debating the viability of that and as to how it will work into Angel and I's experience. But so we're going to have an auction to raise funds for that. I haven't talked to Peter in a long time, but I used to buy a lot of stuff from him, and he used to swap and occasionally buy some stuff from me. So I think he's still working with bugs, just in a different. He's taken a different approach to everything lately. Devin says that's me. Devin, I guess we may have to be in correspondence about some stuff because we'll talk about it. Camping Phoenix area in summer. No, we are going to southeastern Arizona. We're going to do the Chiricahuas. We might go to Madeira Canyon area. I'm still thinking about it, but I'm thinking probably Pina Blanca, actually. We'll probably spend a couple days in the Chiricahuas, a couple days in Pina Blanca, and that'll be it. Those are two. I haven't been to Pina Blanca since 2018. But I'd like to go back, and there's some Arena Vega that need to be recaptured for the collective, so that's important. I'm about 15 minutes from Sky Harbor. Not sure where Sky Harbor is. Nick DeBora, yes. Another shot with Nick DeBora is also kind of in the back of my mind that we may go to that boat launch or even just walking around being la 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 and Kyle and Angela having amazing luck that we'll find them. Yes, having a major flashback. But the other thing the auction is going to be raising money for is Victor's 3. It's about time I got his OFA CHIC, whatever the acronym is for. He's got to get his elbows, hips, blah, 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 x-rayed for his final breeder qualifications. I have no doubt that he will get good to excellent scores and everything. But this is a formality that I will be doing with all dogs that I purchase. With all dogs I purchase, I will be doing the OFA, CHIC check. And then when I produce dogs in the future, I will select dogs that have the body confirmation of the dogs that score the best in the OFA, CHIC ranking system. So I will be doing this for my initial breeders of dogs, but I will probably not be doing it for subsequent generations that I produce under the assumption that I know what I'm looking at some point with the animals. So Megasoma punctulatum, Kim is going to be collecting. We're going to be meeting up with Kim in Arizona. I wanted to do it before he expires. And so we're doing it this time. We're going to see him. We're going to meet up with him and Christine, hang out a bit, catch some bugs, and that'll be that. I know Kim's definitely going for Megasoma. He may be convinced to part with a minor pair if he finds them, but I do know he wants them for his specimen series, so I will not tread on that. But I am Megasoma Sleeper Eye. I am on a collector's list for a pair of Sleeper Eye, so hopefully this year is a good year for Sleeper Eye. So, anybody have any extra questions or things you'd like to share? I may wrap up the stream now so I can have a minute to finish my delicious smoothie before I get back to auction packing tonight, which is on the agenda after the live stream and before my eyeballs give out. But any questions about anything you'd like to bring up? Oh, the airport, says Devin. Sky Harbor Airport. I'll have to look that up as a potential option, actually, too. Devin, we will be in touch as we already are about this, because a couple of things could make this trip a lot easier on Angela and I. So, Alan says, I saw around 90 on one of the trips with Kai. Yeah, it could be a good year for punctulatum. And I just want a pair to work with, basically. William Yadeski says, Sweet Phyllis will be including your package next week. I forgot that you guys were sending me a package. I got your list for your package right here, and I believe it's going out tomorrow. So, actually, Tennyson, if it's too hot there, please text me the address of a post office you'd like me to hold the box at. Or if you'd even like it held at all, please shoot me a text with that information if you could. Appreciate it. For the Romalia, do I miss the paper towel every once in a while for the eggs? I should have clarified that. You can remove the paper towel, and you can just leave the lid kind of loosely on top there, and that should be enough humidity for them to hatch. You can add a little bit of humidity, but again, summer, humid air, easy to overwater, so just keep that in mind. Even with the lid loosely on there, it's not going to be the nymphs cannot push it off and get out when they start to hatch. But you will want to keep an eye on that container, because when the flood happens, they'll trample each other and they'll just die if you don't get to them soon enough. So just keep that in mind. So, any other questions or comments from everybody? I appreciate everybody being here again. I look forward to the day. I look forward to the future that seems to be getting nearer and nearer, where we have Roach Wiggles of the 2-hour length with lots of good stuff to talk about, and better lighting and more interactivity. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. It just takes time, lots of time. Haven't even gotten the bug building built, but we are on our way. We have been on our way for a while now. So, all right. if nobody has any more questions or comments, I want to thank everybody yet again for joining me today. There will be a wiggle next week as well, so we're not going anywhere anytime soon, everybody. We will be here next week. So until then, may your cultures ever be bountiful, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Have a lovely evening, get some rest, and listen to the spring field crickets that are going like crazy outside right now. Take care, everybody.